This is the new Porsche Cayenne Coupe, and it's a little bit of a nip and tuck. You've got new eyelids, a more shapely front, and a more well-rounded rear end. So the frame stays the same, but it's a little bit more well-rounded. Follow me and let's vroom with VinCar. The Porsche Cayenne has always been the benchmark for luxury performance SUVs, and this generation is no exception. So you can't start talking about Porsches without talking about the engines. Now the base Cayenne comes with an updated 3-litre engine pushing out a little bit more horsepower and torque than the previous generation. But for the S like this model, there's no more puny 2.9-litre twin-turbo. What you get is a 4-litre V8 twin-turbo engine. So there'll be no more complaints from the Porsche purists about a high-performance variant with a smaller engine. So let's highlight some differences between the old Cayenne and this new Cayenne. Now for the grille, we have a redesigned front end. We've got 2 slats instead of 3 in the previous generation. You've also noticed that it's a little bit more vertical. I think it's almost 90 degrees versus the other one where it's cambered outside. This design is also echoed all the way to the sides where you have a redesigned LED indicator as well as this trim level over here. Moving up, we have new headlight clusters which now house standard matrix LED headlights. You have of course the optional HD matrix LED headlights with over 32,000 pixels that are controlled by the camera up front. The bonnet has now stronger sculptured shoulders, whereas the previous generation, the bonnet started high, went a little bit higher and proceeded on to the bonnet dome. In this generation, you have a shoulder line here, it goes down to a dip, and then it highlights the engine dome on the top. Wheel sizes for this car start from 20-inch and goes all the way up to 22 inches. Now you do have a selection of colors that you can have for the rims. Now these rims also hide 2-chamber technology dampers, which gives you a bit more distinction between the driving modes Comfort, Sport and Sport Plus. It also promises better driving dynamics for this new model. Now around the back, there are only 2 noticeable differences that we can tell versus the previous generation Cayenne. Now one of course is this tail lamp. Now in the previous generation, there is a clear plastic cover across the entire rear lamp cluster. Now that has been removed. Now this gives it a more organic, a more 3D sculptured feel. And we really like this. The other difference of course is the location of the rear license plate, which is now moved from here to here. Do you like the new look of the new Cayenne Coupe? Let us know in the comments down below. Now as you step into the inside of the new Cayenne, you'll notice many changes. The first thing you may or may not notice are actually these door handles. Now this latch now is now nicely integrated into the trim design. On the previous generation, these were separated. You may notice something different about these seats, and you're right. The previous generation had a one-piece seat with an integrated headrest in it. This new generation Cayenne has a traditional seat with a separated headrest on top of it. Now right beside the door handles, you have new aircon vents, which somehow seem to create a draft versus direct wind blowing at you. Very nice. And of course, beside that, you notice the first big change. Previously on the other car, you had a fake key to start the engine. Porsche has now adopted the start-stop button that almost every other manufacturer has been doing for a few years already. Now we move on to the 5th wheel of the car, the steering wheel. Now this has also been redesigned with what seems to be floating toggles for the switches. And of course, there's also a reduction in the number of buttons on the steering wheel, which is always a good thing. Now as a driver, the thing you'll notice most obvious is the dashboard. Now this comes with a 12.6-inch full digital display. Gone is the trademark center rev dial with 2 digital displays beside it. Love it or leave it? I don't know. Let us know what you think in the comments down below. Now as we start to move across the dashboard, you'll notice this gear lever button now. For those who've been in a Porsche Taycan, you'll notice that this gear lever is now almost the same as that car. The center console has also got a new look here. The number of buttons has been severely reduced, and this is also a good thing. What is really good though is that Porsche has decided to leave the buttons for the air conditioning or climate control system. We really like that. The infotainment display is one area where there hasn't been much change. Of course, you do get the latest software with wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Moving off to the side, you will see a restructured or new design on the dashboard. Now this is because the new Cayenne has the optional passenger display, and it's very obvious where it's going to be, right here. If you look up, you'll notice that this car also comes with the standard panoramic glass sunroof. And the buttons for these are located right between the two sun visors. They have now been updated to capacitive touch buttons. Now let's go to the back of the car. Now I'm seated very comfortably at the back of the new Cayenne, because while there are many changes on the inside, the size stays relatively the same. Now I'm 5 feet 10 for reference, and I'm seated just behind someone who's about my size in the front, and you'll notice that I have a lot of knee room. Some of the changes you'll find in here are the fact that there are now 2 USB-C charging ports in the center console. The seat back pockets are now netting versus the solid piece in the previous generation. As you begin to exit this vehicle, you find that this car now comes with electrically controlled rear sun blinds. While this may have been an extensive list of differences between the old and the new Cayenne, there might have been some that we might have missed out. If you have noticed any other differences, do let us know in the comment sections down below. Thank you for watching this video, and remember to always room with VinCar.